All right. So here we go. All right. Now, before I started recording, I already started it, by the way. So this is all natural raw. I'm going to have you introduce yourself because I think I know why everybody calls you by your last name, because your first name is very hard to pronounce.
Yeah,
Still haven't
so
gotten it down
my
pat.
name,
It's crazy.
my name's Jignesh Patel. My friends either call me Jig or Jay. Like Q said, sometimes people just refer to me as Patel. But
It just flows so cool, right?
yeah,
Patel.
yeah,
It
easy.
sounds like a first name, but it's your last name. So we're doing a recording today with you to just get some knowledge from you. I want you to shout out who you are. This is Legacy Wealth Advantage. We're doing a actual face-to-face Zoom meeting instead of just a regular podcast recording. So this is our first or second visual recording for the actual channel. It's an entrepreneur channel where we're just reaching out, trying to spiritually, physically, connect with people to help them think bigger. Those who are trying to awaken their minds to be on a bigger and better track of life. Entrepreneurship has a lot of things that comes with it. Me and you both have used and are going to abuse the insurance industry. It's a lot of money to be made here. It's a lot of families to be helped here. Whether it's a stepping stone to the next level or your one and only jewel and asset, the financial service business is a very, very lucrative and compensating industry. I'm pretty sure you can agree to that. And we're gonna exploit what we can do to help people as respective to building agency owners trying to go to the next level. So welcome to the show. Glad to have you on board. I hope we get to do another one as well. Um, Introduce who you are, where you at, and the name of your agency.
Okay, so like I said, my name is Jignesh Patel. I've been in the industry a little over 6.5 years now. I started with a captive company now. I'm an independent broker. Um, I represent a group called Innovative Financial Group. Name of my agency, Patel Group, Patel Agency. We're a national brand, actually. My group is in 23 states. So yeah, that's who I am, and that's what we do. Mainly final expense, but we're venturing into the Medicare world, group benefits, employee enrollment benefits, also property and casualty within the next 12 months. My group should be in it. My upline, Innovative, they're already delving into the property and casualty world. So
you're what, mainly 80% final expense and 20% everything else, or what's your
I,
main bulk
I,
of?
would, I would say, yeah, I would say right now, around 80 to 85% final expense. And then the rest is going to be mostly just term and mortgage protection and income protection and, the asset stuff and all of the everything else.
Let me touch on the property and casualty. So I'm just speaking with some old heads that have in the industry. I haven't looked it up, but I trust what they say is pretty true and accurate for the most part. Did you know? And what's your nationality?
So I'm an Indian guy. My mom born in India. My dad was born in Kenya, but I was born in the UK. So I'm a British Indian kid. And I've been in the States since '97. So I've spent most of my adult life here because I'm 40 now. Um, but yeah,
The accent is still pretty heavy. Do you go home often, or it's just you?
it's just me.
Cool accent, man. If it was
I
two
use it
accents,
to use it to my advantage in business and relationships and whatnot.
got to.
It's the icebreaker, talking point.
The two accents I love is the British accent. It's just very professional, networking type of accent, right? And then I love the New York accent. It's just something about that heavy aggressive, like yo in your face type. I like that
Confidence, yeah,
Italian
yeah, I know what you
accent.
mean.
Like ma, what is? I like that ma. That's
Yeah.
what, I love that accent. One of the things that's interesting about property and casualty, specifically during this whole craziness going on with the race war, it's a saying that there's only, or I don't think there's any black owned or just any other race outside of white property and casualty agencies. And I think from what he told me, and again, I'm reiterating off of 3 days old worth of story, it's not many to blame. I think it's only three agents, writers for property and casualty. Now I might have that backwards.
I just wanted to close that door.
Are you all good? Now I might have that backwards. There may only be three. I don't know. I think, well, from what he told me, there's no agency owners as far as anything outside of uh, white-owned property and casualty businesses. Do you know any different?
I know a few. I have a good friend, Stephen Darrington, in Michigan. That's an African American, and
Has a big portfolio of property and casualty?
yeah, but not just property casualty. Now, this guy, he started at Lincoln Heritage, so he started in the life insurance world, and then he came to senior life briefly, and then he went independent. Once he went independent, he got tired of, the rat race, always trying to manage agents and not really making much money, rolling debt, and all of the back end things that people don't see. They just glamorize the money, 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 but there's so much things that, we don't know about. He experienced, and then he just said, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. He got his property and casualty license. He chose a group that he wanted to represent, and now he has his independent agency. He's just the face of it. He has the cheesy billboards like, hey, come on to us and we'll save you some money. He has all that. He's got free offices. He lives the life that he wants to. And what that allowed him to do is build his book of business up to a point that now he's investing in homes. He has, I think, 14 or 15 rental properties now. Q, this is within the last 6 years. Because when I got licensed, I met this guy, Stephen Darrington, when he was at Senior Life. So since then, in the last 6 years, that's been his life by just focusing on one thing. So property casualty can be very lucrative. It's more of a spread out contract rather than, if you're a sports guy, you'll understand this. Life insurance, you're getting the 100% comps, the 110, 115, 120. It's like if you have a $10 million contract in the sports world and you have a 4-year contract, chances of it being $2.5 million over 4 years is going to be slim. You might get $5 million in the first year, and then, you know what I mean, so on and so forth. Well, it's the same in the life insurance world, right? So in Medicare, property casualty, it's the same. It's an evened out contract, the evened out comp level. So let's say you're on a 15% comp level on your property casualty, right? Which is pretty darn good, because your premium is going to be way higher. Now, let's say you're on a 15% comp level year 1. Year 2, it's going to be 15%. Year 3, it's going to be 15%. Year 4, so that's never going to drop. Where in life we might get the 120 year 1, but what about year 2, 3? What about 5+ when it goes down to 1 point something%?
It's crazy.
So it's, for me, I'm looking at building a legacy for my family. Building such a book of business that's going to get me out of the rat race. I don't want to be selling life insurance for the next 20 years. I'm saying, by adding Medicare, and maybe even, if you have a significant other, that person, you might just want to make them the face of the business, because that, them putting them on a billboard and them just getting a license when they want to sell or not, they could be sat in the office while you're focusing on other aspects of your business, and they could just be writing business, getting their 30, 40,000 a year. That per year is adding to that renewal base, and a team is just gonna make it skyrocket and quadruple. You know, if you want to build a life agency, you can still do that. Get your front end, get that front end money. Why not?
I think for sure people, because when we think of something like property and casualty, to me, it's just a different sophisticated product. It's more about network, specifically who you can get in and what you know. I mean, it's like annuities. It can make you a lot of money, but it's not the easiest thing in the world that you want to start off with. I call final expense the drug money of the industry, and I don't joke about it. It is what it is. It's the quickest, easiest way to get in, build a book of business, and start looking at other things to do in the industry. And you talk about getting out of the rat race. That's all I ever talk about with people. What are you trying to do when you get into this? So we're looking for career builders. You know, how do you want to define what that career is, or what you just want to do with the industry? I mean, like I said, if you're trying to get in and make a little bit of money, final expense is your thing to do. Business is all about how you appropriately use people and they use you in the right manner. When you start getting manipulative, then that's when things start going AWOL. So if you just want to come in and hit it real quick, that's fine. I'll help you do that. But if you lie to me and tell me you want to be here for 10 years, and that's where you go wrong, because then you're on the wrong path from the get-go. But we all know, like I said in the beginning, financial services is a very lucrative industry because it's just something you can build off, until you look back after you put your heart and soul into something for 20 years, and that is your retirement. Specifically, if you do the right things with your funds, like your friend who is investing in the rental properties, because that's what it's all about. Because if you're self-employed, you're not going to get the Social Security check that you already can't survive off on anyway. So you're screwed if you mess up. So you better do it right if you're going to put your heart and soul into this business, right?
Right.
What do you think the most lucrative product is out of what we do? Annuities, P&C, I mean, just lucrative product. And then I'll ask you, what do you think the most lucrative career building product is?
Well, let me ask you, lucrative right now or lucrative longevity wise?
Longevity wise.
Medicare, hands down.
I agree.
Hands down, Medicare, simply because now I'm going to give you an example. Now, a lot of clients that we see, and you can probably agree with me on this, Q, that we see in the field, they're going to have pre-existing Medicare. Now, they don't want you to switch them because they're happy with what they have. The only question that you add into your presentation is, when is the last time you've seen your Medicare agent? And that's going to tell you everything. If it's been 6, 7, 8 years, or if they tell you that they bought the policy over the phone or in a Walmart booth, guess what? All you have to do is call the company, make sure you service the client, tell them you're going to be the agent on record. You get the renewals. You don't even have to sell them. You're just the agent on record, and you let them know, look, I'm going to be servicing you. I'm with Humana. I'm going to see you once a year now. You just get the renewals on that client now.
It's crazy.
It's the easiest way to really, because we're seeing final expense people anyway, bro. And especially with the LIS clients, the low income clients, they're not even paying. The government's paying their $40 a month. You know what I mean? Like, bro, there's no money easier than that. No money easier than that. But like I said, that's not going to feed you the right now. That's why you have to incorporate it into the final expense game. You have to.
What do you think is the most lucrative career building product? Same?
Career building, you have to have multiple. So if you're going to have a brick and mortar, and you're just going to have a brick and mortar set up and just do property and casualty in the heart of Atlanta, and then just advertise the heck out of that business, so everyone in Atlanta is going to see your face and they're going to know you. You can have a very lucrative multi-million-dollar generating agency right where you're at, bro, just doing property casualty, a little bit of life here and there when people come into your brick and mortar shop. But with the team building, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I just took a $9,000 debt roll-up that I have to pay out of my income and my commissions. Most people aren't built for that. So if you're building in the independent world, it's not like being captive. It's going to be a reality where it's going to hit you in the face. You ain't going to get paid until that's paid off, you know, or some carriers have it a different way. So I always say, you know, you have to have multiple streams of income. With the licenses that we carry, you can do multiple things. Now, annuities, where I see annuities, it's the whales, right? You can't just focus on just annuities, because if you want to generate annuity leads, the cost per lead is way higher,
Sophisticated.
right? Hundreds of dollars, right? The lead isn't going to be any better than our $15 or $10 Facebook lead, guarantee you. And the people that we're seeing with our $15 and $20 Facebook final expense lead, let me explain to you, 1 in 3 of those homes is an annuity presentation. It's an annuity presentation because all you have to do is incorporate one question into your presentation. You know, when you're discussing, do you well, it's going to cost this much for your funeral. It's going to cost this much. Do you have anything for your rent? If you die, does anyone lose? You know, is your mortgage going to be covered? Is your income going to be covered? Well, the last quadrant, it's going to be, do you have anything that will act like life insurance? E.g., 401ks, retirements, anything else that can be life insurance for you. When I ask that, I already know if they say no, I'm easily going to get a final expense sale. If they say yes, fantastic. If they tell me, oh yeah, well, I'm a 401k, I'm not even going to push that sale. I'm going to close my final expense deal with them because that's why they filled out the deal. At the end of it, I've built enough rapport, and all I'm gonna do is nonchalantly ask, you know, just a little bit about their 401k in particular, questions that I already know. In 2008, when everyone was hurting, what happened to your 401k? They're gonna spill the beans. Oh yeah, I lost $40,000 on it, $60,000. It took years to really, you know, recover from it. Let me ask you this: if that were to happen again, and it's just happened, bro, to everyone's 401ks and retirements, if that were to happen again, or is your retirement losing income, how would you like to know about something, a program that you'll never see the lows like you're feeling now, but you'll see the gains, and when everyone else is seeing the lows, you'll still have steady gains. They just won't be as high. You just won't have these lows. So your retirement will be guaranteed. I just feed that into their head. If I see their reaction, then I'm going to set an appointment up where I'm going to bring stuff pertaining just to them. We'll talk about it, blah, blah, blah. I'll get all the information I need, and then I'll make another appointment, a third appointment, where I come back and I break everything down, make the app, and take care of business.
So I just ignorantly don't know because I haven't asked the right questions, or just really don't kind of care to know at this point because I'm focused on one thing at a time. I see a lot of exciting agents excited about the industry coming to try to crush everything at one time, and just like any other business model fell out. It's ridiculous, right?
Don't do too much.
You know, with final expense, because I'm very familiar with leads are the king of everything. When
Right.
you try to get into property, casualty, annuities, and everything else, I mean, I'm assuming that's the same thing that kind of crushes people's dreams, right? Because how do you get in front of those people?
Well, the leads, I mean, like I said, if you only focus on annuities, you're trying to find whales. It's going to take a lot of resources and a lot to go at whale. You know me? You know, I like to teach my people, we can all be Elmer Fudd's and go in the woods and just shoot some squirrels, a rabbit. I'm going hunting. I'm getting everything I can. It's going to take you way more resources and way more energy to go finding that whale than it's going to take me to get all of these. And then I got more meat than your whale anyway. Way more meat. You know what I mean? Because on average, let's say you're making 5% on an annuity. For each $100,000 you roll, bro, you make $5,000 in commission, which it's good, but you really have to roll a lot of money, and it's out there. Believe me, there's a lot of money. There's carpenters, there's union workers, you know, there's a lot of 401ks out there and a lot of money to roll, but you can't just focus on one thing. Annuities are good, but you'll find them in final expense home. Once again, Medicare is golden. You're going to find those in final expense homes. Why not use that one lead for 3 different purposes?
That's the easy combination right there. I mean, it's just an extra question. Like you said, we're already talking to the perfect client, 64, 65 range. Right. So, even with property and casualty agencies, they are, I'm assuming they struggle typically a little bit more finding a decent lead. I mean, I've always wondered how, when if I walk into a State Farm building, right, they're the most popular looking cute ones, right? Where are they getting their leads from? What kind of sources are those? And they're mainly property and casualty. I know their business is a lot more about networking too. They are
right. But State Farm have a name. Allstate have a name. Nationwide, all of these companies that we're discussing right now, they have a name. So when they're marketing, they're advertising, plus the local communities where their offices are in, they're used to that. So they're used to, even if though they're paying more money, they'll go over there. Now check this out. Imagine you have property and casualty under your belt, right? Let me say you have property and casualty under your belt, and what ends up happening is you go in the field. You're talking to them about life. You're talking to them about annuities. You're even asking them, let's say it's a low-income home. You're asking them, how would you like to know if you can save 50 to 80 bucks a month on your car insurance? Guess what? If you have all of their policies in one home, they're never going to drop you. You're just building more and more and more value with that one person going in.
You think final expense leads can take you to the property and casualty? Is that what
so let me explain. When I was at Senior Life, excuse me 1 second, bro. I have someone here. Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
That thought. Take the dog, put her in the cage. Okay, did you supposed to come early today? Okay. All right. So there's a lot of different things. You can see the seam up there. You see the seam up there? Right there. I mean, this stuff all through the house, man. There's seams that go on the walls. There's a seam right here. Look. Seam there. Yeah, so
there we go.
Going back to where we're at. We were just talking about adding property and casualty to your final expense portfolio. Listen, it's not for every agent, but if you as the agency owner have it in your portfolio and you have field agents for final expense going in the field, some homes that we see, they can't even afford 30 to 50 bucks. Now, they want the final expense, they need it, they need the insurance. Now, if you can save them 30 to 50 bucks a month on their car insurance, they can redirect the funds right to you. And guess what? You still keep both sides. There's 2 sides of the business then.
It's really just more about dedicating that time to build that relationship and actually care then. Well, that's one of the biggest things I see is, I don't walk into too many final expense clients that are just doing well off in life where they can afford all this stuff, or if you get lucky enough to where they need all this stuff. So that's when you have to be that, which is why I say laser focus on one thing. And then as we start to develop you in other things, type of characteristics, because most people, they don't have that skill set specifically from the beginning to even understand that,
Right. So, it's something that I did. I had a lady that I worked with, and she was a PNC broker. When I was at Senior Life, she was a PNC broker. And I would often run into cases that I couldn't do anything for the client because I'm either giving them a modified rate where it's super high, or they couldn't afford it. And even on a standard or preferred rate, it was tight. It was going to be tight to fit their budget. I had a lady that I partnered with. All I would do is, call her up. She would save them money on their PNC. Boom. you know, I would just redirect those funds into what I was going to do, you know, and it was a perfect partnership. So I did it before where I wasn't seeing any of the funds coming to me. And because, you know, rebating laws, if you're not licensed in PNC, you kind of split the deal. So rebating laws, she couldn't really rebate me. She told me some gift cards and stuff. But if you're like me, I don't need a gift card. I want to get paid, man. You know what I mean?
Take that and use it on the final expense product. I got you.
Yeah, man. I'm not really one for accolades. I don't care about the wood on my shelf or the glass that's saying that I did this and that. Like, show me the funds in my bank account. You know.
So let me ask you this. Why did you choose this industry? So you've been in it for what, 6 years now?
Yeah.
You're old head of the industry. You know that, right?
Yeah, little over 6 years. Most people don't make it too. You know, most people don't make it too. So,
And that's and I'm a testimony of that because I'm just now seeing it coming. I just had my one of my biggest months of my career, and I this isn't the first time I hit 10,000, but it's starting to become kind of consistent, which has always been the goal. I tell everybody 5 clear cash is your first goal. It's got to be realistic. Then start trying to get to 10, and that's hard to do. Not gross cash. Not gross cash. It's a difference. Now, gross is awesome too, trust me. But cash after leads are paid for and all that, that's where it looks good, feel good, and that's the start. Shouldn't be your only goal, but that's the start. So 2 years is that mark because then your book of business starts kicking in. You have the residuals, etc. I tell people don't do anything but worry about building a book of business for at least 3 to 4 years of your life. If you can make it past year 2, specifically in the system that I was coming from, which where the captive model, it's almost it was hard. And even as a determined guy as I am, it's just that 2 year mark. You got to make it 2 years, unless you are a natural born great salesman or woman, and you're selling 200 plus thousand annual, 200, not 120, which is a great decent number to be at. Not 150,000, 200,000 is what's going to change your life in the first year of just like, I took care of the bills. I put money away for investments. I put money away for emergencies. I paid my expenses. I paid my gas to go out. I put money away for my mechanic fees for my car, all that. That's what it is. And a lot of people don't have that skill, including me. I couldn't sell 200,000 in my first year. It's a very tough thing to do.
that's in a captive setting though, Q, because I mean, you said the 2 year mark, that's the golden thing. Like, but I'm gonna disagree with you on that because you just recently became independent. Wait till you hit that 10-month mark and you see your residuals. Wait till you hit that and you'll be like, oh man, I didn't know we had this world. You'll be like, ooh. You know what I mean? So the 9-month mark, but if you can make it 2 years, you know, you're going to have a career in this industry. But like within 9 months in the independent world, you're going to see that back end that pays through 9, 10 months, 10 months, and you will see all of it.
Yeah, because it's like you said, it's different here because you get all the chargebacks up front. So you keep business on the books, you're going to get it quicker as far as what you want to see.
Me, it's prorated too. It's prorated, so you're not going to get taken off of the back end. Like big chunks, it hurts.
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It's a jab. Trust me, I know. And you do too. And you do too. So why'd you choose the industry? You've been in it a long time. So you definitely got faith in what we do.
Well, yeah. Well, it's changed my life, Q. It has changed my life because even at the captive group, I was doing good. I had a team. You know, for where I came from, I was working in the kitchens. You know, doing flipping steaks at Longhorn Steakhouse, making cheesesteaks, being in the kitchen, being on my feet, but it wasn't taking care of me and my family. It was barely taking care of business, and we had a broke down car and whatnot. So I was broke, and I broke my leg. So when I broke my leg, I couldn't go work in the kitchen. There was no way. I'm not gonna get unemployment because I broke my leg at home, slipping on ice.
Jesus, man. You told me, but I forgot. You slipped.
Yeah.
So
we
can laugh about it now. He's good. But Jesus.
Yeah, man. I laugh about it, bro. But because a friend of mine, you know, he was a RVP at my prior company, and he told me about this telesales opportunity. So, you know, 11 days with a broken leg. I got my license from start to finish. And by February 16th that year, I was working, you know, and I was doing telesales. Now, I always find a loophole in the system and it bites you in the butt. So don't try and find a loophole. If there's a system in place, just focus on the system. So while I was doing telesales, they had the company had a whole system through VanillaSoft VPN, the software where, you know, you can have calls, a 1-800 number that's right to the company, and it was a cool system. But there was codes that would allow you to access live transfers that most people didn't know about. I found out them codes, Q. I didn't know how to sell though, you know what I mean? I was new to the industry. I'm just like, yeah, if they call me direct from the ads, I'm gonna sell a whole bunch more. Whoop, whoop. I turned all of these codes on for different states, and I was getting calls. And I was making sales, but for all of the leads that were being dropped on me, I wasn't making enough sales to keep up with it. And before I knew it, the company didn't know, but before I knew it, I was around $3,800 in the hole once they caught wind. Once they caught wind, I couldn't get no more leads, to say the least. I couldn't get any more leads. So it's like, I can either pack it in at negative $3,800 with his broken leg, or try and find a way out. For a couple of months, I plugged on with telesales, and, you know, it wasn't for me at that point. So I did a total of 8 months. And then I just said, man, one day I just said, to heck with this. I'm going to go to the poorest part of my town and beat on everyone's doors until someone speaks to me. And that's what I did. I hobbled around 3 miles with a broken leg. And true story, no driver's license, no car, hobbling, beating on doors. I would make a sale, at least a sale to 2 sales per day. True story. And then before I knew it, I had started working that debt down. Month and a half, 2 months. And I was on a 70% comp back then over there. 2 months, that whole debt was wiped off clear. And now agents that are struggling in the car with leads, with this, with all the advantages, want to work with me and see what I'm doing without anything. Before I knew it, you know, I had a team of 4 or 5 people that wanted to work with me. I not only had 1 newer car, I had 2 new cars for my family and me. And, you know, life was good. 3.5 years on, I felt that there's something called the law of the lid, where, you know, I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. The law of the lid is where, you know, if your leadership isn't growing, then you're going to hit a cap.
Environment is everything.
Environment is
everything. Friends, I'll show you your future.
Amen. So I felt that I hit that lid, and I couldn't grow any further. I felt that the person above me was not honest, and, you know, I could keep it going, but I decided to part ways. I wanted to actually keep the contract, but they didn't let me, and it was a whole mess. 3.5 years on, and now I'm seeing why it was the biggest and the best decision that I ever made, because 3.5 years on, you know, I've got an agency with close to 200 people, 200 agents nationwide.
Directly, you know, or directly indirectly?
No, I don't code any agents directly to me. So if I recruit anyone, you know, I'm building branches, I'm building groups, you know, I'm giving my guys value. So if you're a manager under me, yeah.
How many people you got direct to you? Managers.
Okay, so let me count that. We got Jeff, we got Adam Dorber, we got Mark. We got Rob Trinonis, we got Chris Soul. I got like eight managers.
Yeah, I'll just branch them out from there. I get you.
It makes sense.
Got to.
You know, take care of everyone, and this way there's a support system in place for everybody. You know, I feel that we as leaders, instead of taking advantage on these bigger spreads over these agents and these groups, take a smaller spread, let my group managers make a lot more than I do individually. And the reason why, because they're going to be, pouring into their agents. They're going to be the ones investing into their future. They're going to do what I've done for them. So, it only makes sense to do things the way.
What's been your most exciting, craziest, weird time out of this industry?
In this industry, man, the unknown, man. When I moved to Florida a year and a half ago, I went blind. I didn't know what I was going into, and there was butterflies in my stomach. And I was leaving what I knew, and what I knew was successful, was working for me, and I was going into the unknown. So it was scary, but it was exciting, because once I really got here, within 6 months, I had made such good relationships that we had built branches all over the place. Group in Virginia, group in Miami, group in Tampa, all over the place, So my most exciting time, definitely the last year and a half. Over the last year and a half, I built my dream home, definitely exciting times ahead. And now I'm adding more lines of insurance to my business. So, financially, I look to, over the next 3 to 5 years, start taking my foot off the gas.
One day, right? One day. Dude, if you're going to get into this business, because it's plenty of things you can do to make money. It's one of the things I tell people, like car salesmen, for example. It's like, yeah, you made $250,000 last year. That's awesome. It's very it's a very good thing for a car salesman. But what is your plan 5, 10, 15 years from now? Even with certain real estate investments, not all of them get you out of the rat race. And there's a very defined plan of action. If you do the right things, have the right leadership, have the right people under you, and are the type of right leadership that can help you get out of the rat race in this industry. And nobody, including me, wants to be in the field, banging the phones for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and still don't have it figured out. You'll make a lot of money if you're good at what you do, but you'll burn out. You'll burn out, just like used car salesman, and anything else as far as a sales job. If you're gonna be a car salesman, make a lot of money and do the right things with it. If you're gonna get into the insurance business and you're not gonna expand your portfolio, expand your agency, or want to build, make a lot of money, do the right things with it. But for sure, the financial service business, based on where you can start and where you can go. I mean, this is just all on yourself, specifically if you're independent, because there's not much you can do in a captive model. You can go to high places in this business. And the exciting thing about it, it's the easiest thing to do, because one of the things I truly define from wealth is when you build one asset, don't go try to get into the oil business. I mean, we have so many simple things we can do, like add that one extra question in and build a Medicare book of business. And now you look a year later or two, now you got an extra 6 figures coming in just from doing that. And then you do the same thing with PNC. And then, you can just keep going down the road with it. And that's a very exciting thing that people don't understand. If you're going to get into this business, get into it with the mindset of wanting to get out of the rat race. Come in, build as quick, aggressively fast as possible, and just after about 10 years, you should start wrapping stuff up.
Right.
You should start wrapping stuff up.
Come in and ready to grind. Like, people see the success. The number one piece of advice that I would give to a new agent: don't get starstruck by someone else who's doing good, because you don't see what it took to get them where they're at. All we see is the bright lights and the stardom. Some people got given a position. There's many out there like that, but most of the people that deserve to be where they're at, it took them some time, and it was blood, sweat, and tears. We only see the nice cars, the nice home, and the good life, but we don't see
get rich quick. Get rich for sure.
Right.
The only way you get rich for sure is if you go out and put in the work. You got to put in the work. And so I got two more questions for you, then we'll wrap it up. I know we both got to go.
Right.
What has been the biggest contributor to helping you build your agency?
The brand name. So IFG, the national brand name, and what they're doing for insurance agents nationwide, it's been easy. Obviously the comp levels, the compensation levels are key, but the brand name, it speaks for itself. Transparent relationships that I have with my uplines make it easier for me to recruit. So that's what I would say.
What's been your favorite part about being in the insurance industry, being an insurance agent?
Freedom. I'm not one to being told, all right, punch in at this time, go home at that time. I work my tail off, Q, but I like the freedom. I like not having someone hovering over my shoulder telling me, why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? I'm pretty confident and very self-sufficient.
How did you gain that skill? Because one of the biggest things that everybody wants is that freedom, but I see a lot of people fell out.
Discipline, right? It's all about discipline. If you don't have the self-discipline, being in a captive or a captive-like group is going to be key. If you need to, have a group that's giving you the high fives and the accolades, captive or captive life setting is going to be the one for you,
For sure.
But that's also being
rah-rah. That's what I call it, the rah-rah.
right. Absolutely. So, if you're going to be disciplined and you don't need to be told what to do, then being a complete broker is the key, because then you can demand the highest comps. But if you're still going to need some support and help, you can go somewhere in between where you can have a captive-like setting with the right IMO, with the right group. And you might shave a little bit of comp off, but it's worth it, because you got to give a little to get something.
Always. A lot of people can understand that theory. So my only 5 questions for you is as part in the actual interview where I ask you some quick questions. Just simply, it's like a yes or no type of deal, right? So my first 5 question for you, Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Ferrari or Lambo?
Ferrari.
MJ or LeBron? I'm a Ferrari guy too.
MJ all day.
MJ all day, huh?
Sure.
I got you. Now, this doesn't implement that you do these things. These are just funny questions for the viewer. Beer or hard liquor?
Beer.
Beer guy. Now, this one's funny. Weed or cocaine?
Definitely weed.
You got to do the weed.
Yeah.
All right, man. Any shout out your group one more time to everybody where they can find you?
I'm with Innovative Financial Group. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm easy to find, Jignesh Patel.
I think you need to spell that out.
Jignesh. Last name is Patel, Patel. If you do look for us, you're going to find hundreds and thousands of us. So you're probably going to try to find Q as a mutual friend. And that'll be the right Jignesh Patel. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to find me.
He is a pot stirrer on Facebook, guys. He's very entertaining, so I would definitely follow him if I were you. Anything, if you want to laugh or crack a smile every other day, that's your guy to follow. You on Instagram?
I am on Instagram. Let me see. I don't even know my name on Instagram.
And then you have a website. Shout your website out too. You're going to be pushing this out as well.
TeamIFG.com. Okay, and my Instagram is SooperJig. SOOPERJIG.
Any final comments, sir?
Nah, thank you for having me today, Q. Appreciate the time and the love, and look forward to doing this again sometime.
Same here, man. You have a good day. I know you got a few things to get into.
Yes, sir. God bless.